Hello and welcome to another example of working with the table. I already set this table up just so that I could explain to you how certain table structures can be created. Now, if you're looking at the output on the right-hand side, you would have noticed the very first row that displays work schedule spans several rows, and the total number of rows that it spans is equals to 8. That is why when I created this table in the first row right over here, I've created one cell that spans 8 columns. So it goes all the way from the first column to the last column. So it spans 8 columns. Then in the second row, I have 8 columns. Each column mentions one of the items. As you can see, time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All these 8 columns are part of my second row. Now moving on to the third row. In the third row, which is where I display 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the first box. In the second box, I'm displaying board meeting. In the third box, second box, board meeting, third box, office hours. But notice the inspection. Since I'm planning on doing inspection on Wednesday from 8 a.m. all the way through 12 p.m., therefore I have done row span equals to 2. So my first 4 hours before lunch on Wednesday, I'm doing inspection. So when I'm going from, if I would like to occupy more than 1 boxes on a particular day, I'm using row span. If I would like a particular event to occupy more than 1 day, then I am using call span because my days are in the columns and my time is in the rows. For example, if I come down here to the very last cell on line number 29, which is basically my time off cell, as you can see over here, Friday through Sunday. So since this will be the first cell in the first row, which is the 8 a.m. row, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. row, so I have to start from that cell, row only, as we have learned in the previous tutorials, that whenever you do a call span, row span, you must first figure out which will be the first row from where the spanning will going to start. Since in this case the spanning will start from the 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. row, therefore I've placed that in that particular row. And notice I'm using call span equals to 3 because it is spanning 3 columns, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm using row span equals to 4 because it is spanning 4 rows, which is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. all the way through 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So that's the second row I have. Now, as you will notice in this first row, I have one cell that is occupying one of the cells of the next row. And then I have another cell that is occupying another cell in the next row. So from the first row, I'm actually going into 2 placeholders in the second row. So when I start coding second row, I wouldn't have to code all possible values. So notice these are the only 4 cells that I would have to fill in out of 8 cells. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday is being occupied. Those 3 cells are being occupied by the first row. And so is the Wednesday cell is also being occupied by the first row. So I only need to code for Monday 10 to 12, for Tuesday 10 to 12, and Thursday 10 to 12. Now moving on to the next row, which is the lunch row. This is where I would like to occupy Monday through Thursday, which are the 4 days, which are the 4 columns. So I'm using a call span equals to 4 in my second cell, which will going to span all the way through. And similarly, my very last row, where I have a timing of 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., as you can see. And that timing of 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. is in the first cell of the last row. And then the second one, I would like this event to happen on Monday, on Tuesday, and Wednesday. Each one of the 3 days, I will be on visits from 1 a.m. to 3 p.m., 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Therefore, I'm doing a call span of 3. And in the very last day, working day of Thursday, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., I have this meeting. And notice I have how I have broken it down into multiple rows by using BR, because once again, in this example, I'm using pure HTML. I have not incorporated any CSS. So in the coming examples, you will going to see how we can enhance this table and make some changes into this table by using CSS. However, if you only want to set something up using HTML, you have to be careful, especially about row span and column span. That's all for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're going to start working with some CSS properties. Thank you for watching.